Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's edition of the CrossFit Games Update Show. I'm Sean Woodland with Pat Sherwood, and joining us, Dan Bailey, who is now only one of 3 men to ever win the CrossFit Games Open. Did that in 2011. Of course, everybody knows that. The 2015 Reebok CrossFit Games Open is now in the books, and congratulations to all of you out there who participated. But now it's time to move on to regionals. Dan, you were 12th worldwide, which I would say
not bad.
That's very respectable.
Yeah.
How are you feeling now after the Open as you head into regionals?
Not going to lie, I'd like to see my name a little bit higher on the leaderboard. I spent the Open doing some different things. I got to travel around a lot, be in some different gyms, judge people, just be a part of the community, which was an awesome experience. I wouldn't have traded that for anything. Heading into regionals, I've got some work to do.
Okay.
I think everybody thinks that nobody's going to really slow down the pace until they get to their region. So put my nose to the grindstone and get to work.
Well, we finished up the 2015 Open with 15.5, which is widely regarded as the absolute worst workout out of any that we did during the past 5 weeks. A lot of people had to get on the rower and row for 72 calories. When you add that all up, you come up with more than 12,681,000 calories. To put that in perspective, that is enough energy to heat your average home for 3 years. So
Very
well done to the entire community.
Socially conscious statistic.
Yes, 15.5 was, look, everyone hated it. Do you guys agree? I mean, we'll start with you, Pat. Was that the worst one that we did?
Absolutely. And, you know, when Dave Castro announced the workout, he said this was going to be just an engine test, you know, or it was going to test your engine. And it was disgusting. As an old school CrossFitter, what I love, you guys probably hate it, which is a workout that has a loading and a rep scheme that when great athletes like this guy look at it, they go, oh no, I don't have a reason to put that down. I'm going to have to go really hard and go to that miserable place. And the community went there.
Yeah. What do you think, Dan? Was that the worst one?
Absolutely, the worst one by far. And the thing that you notice the most is you look on social media, you look at people's video postings. Most people spent more time on the ground after the workout than they did during the workout, so I think that was pretty indicative of it being the worst workout of the Open.
I think our own Rory McKernan may have set the record when he did that one in Las Vegas. He was on the floor for about
4-to-1 ratio.
I was gonna say at least.
In 2 different locations, so that's going to be hard to beat. Well, the professional guys who did 15.5 didn't spend nearly as much time on the ground as I did, or Pat, or Rory McKernan did. And when it was all said and done, it was Matt Fraser who put up the best time, and he came into the week with a 5-point lead over Rich Froning. He puts up a time of 5 minutes 19 seconds. It ties him with Simone Paquette, and as a result, Matthew Fraser comes away with a win in the Open. We have been talking a lot about this guy ever since he finished second at the Games. Even before that, he's got a lot of hype. Are we making too big of a deal that he won the Open?
Making too big of a deal of things is what I do for a living, okay? So it can't be overdone. But no, Fraser is the real deal, and I think 15.5, if it didn't already, it just should have cemented that. I did not expect Fraser to win 15.5. I thought Jason Khalipa would. I knew he wouldn't break up the thrusters. He'd crush the rower. So for somebody like Matt Fraser to outdo some of those other athletes, this is a guy that we think of just as a great Olympic lifter, but now he has an engine. He has gymnastics capacity. He's got it all. It's showing. Kid's a threat.
Dan, you've competed with this guy. Is he the guy to beat? And who are some athletes who might also be in that conversation?
Absolutely, today he is the guy to beat. Winning the Open, how he did at regionals last year, how he performed at the Games, being so close to having a chance to take the title. I think he is the #1 man to beat, but the other guys I have my eyes on for sure are Scott Panchik, Josh Bridges, and Ben Smith. Ben Smith and Josh Bridges have a lot of experience. They have a lot of talent. They've done very well at the Open. They've done very well at the regionals over the years. Ben is getting a little bit older, a little bit more mature. Most people don't know he's a pretty young guy, but he's been competing in the Games forever, since he was an infant. And then you have Scott Panchik, who's been so close to grabbing a podium spot so many years. I think he's hungry. He's got the talent. Those are my guys to watch.
Well, the guys that you mentioned, a lot of them did extremely well in the Open. And when you look at the overall leaderboard, we mentioned Matt Fraser sits atop. Rich Froning, who will be going team, is second. And then Ben Smith, Jason Khalipa, another team athlete, and Scott Panchik rounding out the top 5. And then you also have Rasmus Weitzbeck Anderson, who's going to be competing with you, Dan, in that California regional. What did we learn, Pat, from this open. And we have some names up there that we don't recognize, and it looks like this was a pretty good test, and a lot of people rose to that occasion.
Well, selfishly, as an analyst, I love this open. I love that we have the scaled division now, which gives the director of the games, Dave Castro, more creativity and freedom to throw various things into these workouts. So I think this test leading up to regionals was the best one to date. So I'm excited. Okay, Froning and Kleeper, they're going team, so they say. So now it's the best year ever for Fraser, Ben Smith, Scott Panchik. But then sitting there in number 6, Rasmus Anderson, man. I've mentioned your name a couple of times, and I'm extremely eager to see you throw down at regionals. Incredible open performance, went team last year, so he could really shake up, Mr. Dan Bailey's region down there.
After the open, Dan, what did you learn about yourself, where you are as far as your training for regionals now?
I learned how deep the field is, really, and how much better everybody's getting. Those guys who are on the cusp or didn't quite make it one year have put in the work. So there's really no room for a guy like myself to slack off or rest or anything like that. You just have to keep going day in and day out, work as hard as you can, and hope for the best.
You have about 6 weeks now. I mean, as fit as you are, how much of a difference can 6 weeks make as you go to regionals?
It depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking about max lifts, clean and jerk snatch, maybe you're looking to get 5 pounds here or there. You're not going to get a huge difference in 6 weeks. But the biggest thing I think you can do is still improve that engine. When you look at a workout like 15.5, when you can chop off some time off of workouts like that, I think you can do that if you're going to train that way once, twice, 3 times a week. I think you're definitely going to see a huge improvement as you approach your regionals.
So this will be the first year that we have this new regional format where we're combining different regions into 8 regionals. There are going to be some good ones out there, Pat. What are the ones that you're going to be keeping an eye on?
There's going to be so many good ones. Maybe no bad ones, right, with this new format, but I'm going to go with the Central region. Now, the Central region will combine the North Central and the Central East. Bang. Now we have the Central Regional. And here's who we're going to have from those 2 different areas. Jacob Hepner, Kyle Kasserbauer's out this year, so I think he would have taken a spot. That opens up a spot for somebody else. Justin Allen, Philip Kniep, Alex Nettie. And then we go to the old Central East people. Let's say Froning's going team, James Hobart's going team. That opens up spots, and we've got Panchik, Alex Anderson, Will Morad, Nick Uranker, Nick Forey, Graham Holmberg. I mean, so many names all throwing down at the same event. That's going to be by far my favorite men's competition.
Yeah, no, you're going to be a little biased because of the California region you'll be competing in, but what other ones are you going to be watching?
Selfishly, the California region is going to be my favorite, but definitely the Central Regional. I've got a lot of guys that I used to compete with there. You've got Nick Forey, Marcus Hendren, Graham Holmberg again, guys that I've competed with, trained with, have been part of the community for so long, and guys that like Nick Forey, who's been on the bubble so many years, been so close to going to the games, incredibly good competitor. You put him in different regions, things like that, he goes, but out of the Central East, he never made it. So I'm excited for them with those 2 extra spots, taking it 5 deep. So we'll see what they can do there.
Yeah, regionals start May 15th. Remember, tickets are on sale right now. And we are saying goodbye to the part of the season where we all get to compete, we all get to see our names on the leaderboard, and we're turning it over to the really good people like Dan Bailey. But the men deserve a lot of credit out there at large. With the scaled version of the Open, you had a choice to do maybe one RX and then maybe this one scaled. Despite that, nearly 64% of all the men out there did every workout as prescribed. That's more than 52,000 people. The next version after that the most people opted for was scaling 15.3 only. About 9,100 people. And then the third most popular version was scaling everything. Just about 11% of you did that. And that's 8,700 people. Our community has definitely gotten fitter, haven't they?
And just looking historically back, I mean, if you've been in the community since before the Open existed, things like muscle-ups weren't commonplace. On CrossFit.com, there used to be a muscle-up club where anyone in the entire world that was a CrossFitter that had a muscle-up, your name was on this list, and the list was small enough that you could read it in about 30 seconds. Yeah. And now, these days, we have tens of thousands of people knocking them out. It's just a testament to what is now normal.
Yeah, well, that's going to do it for us today. Remember, regionals get kicked off on May 15th, and those tickets are on sale now. I want to thank Dan Bailey for stopping by. For Pat Sherwood, I'm Sean Woodland. We'll see you guys next time.